ITV. I'm Alihia, your host, and today I'm with Garth Sodetani. Did I say that right?
You did.
Who is an actor and a stuntman. We're going to talk a little bit about his career, the projects he's worked on, and the ones he's currently in progress. So I want to start off by asking you, how did you get into the acting, performing world?
Oh man. So honestly, I kind of just fell into it. Acting and stunts were never really on my radar. I actually grew up wanting to do martial arts my whole life. So I actually came to California to do mixed martial arts, like what you see in the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing that for a while, and I realized that it was getting a little tough for me to kind of book competition and fights. So a lot of my friends were starting to do stunt work. And I mean, who doesn't want to get paid for not getting punched in the face, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I started trying stunt work, and I enjoyed it so much. And then I was doing that for a little bit, and long story short, I tore my Achilles really badly, and I was out of commission. I couldn't do anything physical. So a lot of my friends were like, if you want to stay in the industry, you should try acting, just to try it out.
Mm-hmm.
I took my first acting class, and the rest is history.
Mm-hmm.
And I love acting now, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So you're not originally an LA native, right? Where are you
No.
from?
I'm actually from Hawaii, so I've been here for about 8 years, and LA is very different than back home, but it's nice because I can also go home.
Mm-hmm.
It's only like a 5-6 hour flight for me, so yeah.
Was your training originally started there?
Yeah, I actually started doing martial arts as soon as I could walk, really. I started doing karate first, and then I had my first kickboxing match when I was 12, I think. And then at about 18, I started doing MMA, mixed martial arts, so I started learning jiu-jitsu, wrestling, Muay Thai, and yeah, so I fell in love with that because at that time, it was a lot of people from Hawaii were starting to kind of come up, like BJ Penn, Anthony Inoue, and I wanted to be like them, because in Hawaii, fighting is kind of like a pastime. It's like throwing around a football for us.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's I kind of always grew up fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of courage, I think, to do those types of things. What gives you that? Is it a sense of competition? Did your parents just were like, you have to go to these classes, or what?
Honestly, so when I was younger, I was really overweight. So I would get bullied a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how I came into martial arts. Like, my mom put me in martial arts because she wanted me to learn how to defend myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started to realize that I love just learning art in general. And then obviously, I love competition, so I love testing myself. And win, lose, or draw, it doesn't matter to me because I just love competing,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to better myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you moved, is your first job as an actor, was that in LA?
Yes.
Because I assume there's not as much as back home, right?
I think it's definitely a growing industry in Hawaii, but yeah, definitely LA is where it's at.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you remember what that first job was and what it made you feel and going into it?
I do. So the first job I actually really got was I was working on a web series, just a small web series, and I was doing stunt work,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, wow, I got paid a little bit of money, but I was like, wow, this is actually really fun because, I don't actually have to get hit for real to make money. So I was like, wow, can I really do this as a job? And I enjoyed it so much because not only as a stuntman do you get to kind of act, but it's a fun way to also, show your craft, like your martial arts. And that's what I've always done my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Is there a favorite project you've worked on that you're very proud of?
Yeah, so ever since I started acting, I've definitely tried to transition more towards acting. I love being able to create characters. I love being able to show my emotions and my range. But I have to say, one of my favorite projects would have to be a project called Project Nexus, Madness Project Nexus. I like it because it has a huge following. It's an amazing following. It has a huge fan base, and the reason why I loved it so much was because it gave me the ability to really showcase both acting and stunt work for me. And I also really love the fact that we had the screening and all these fans showed up to watch just a trailer of it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and you know, people were wanting to take pictures with the cast, they wanted autographs, and I was just like, wow, this is amazing because, you know, the fan base is so loyal, and you know, they came out for just the trailer, and it was just one of the most amazing feelings I've ever had.
Would you say then there's a community around people that like are in film and also do martial arts?
I would definitely say that, yes. I mean, who doesn't watch Jackie Chan movies or Bruce Lee movies and want to be the next one, right? So I would definitely say that there is a huge community for martial arts and acting. Yeah.
On the opposing side of that, is there a film that you felt was really challenging or really gruesome, took some hits, you know?
Honestly, I would have to say the same project, Madness Project Nexus, only because it was the first time I've ever had to alter my voice. And it was a real big challenge for me because, you know, I've played different characters, I've done drama, I've done comedy, but I've never had to alter my voice. And all of my friends and family who watched it, they were asking me if that was really my voice because they had never ever heard me like that before. So they didn't believe me. They thought that I was using, you know, some kind of auto-tune or you know, enhancement, but it was just really my voice. But yeah, getting to that point was definitely a hurdle that's a little different for me. So I would say, yeah, in terms of that was probably one of my most challenging roles.
Oh, that's so interesting that it's the same project.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I've heard about this thing about stunts where some like production companies, they only let you, or there's regulations, you can only do it like once or twice. Is that true?
In terms of...
Like it's so dangerous, they're like, you're only allowed to do this once or twice.
Oh, you mean like takes?
Yeah.
Yes. So, especially if it's something super dangerous, yeah, you're normally allowed 1, maybe 3 takes tops. But other than that, yeah. And my realm is usually fight choreography, so I don't have to do, you know, the high falls. I don't do a lot of, you know, the crazy stuff.
Yeah. Got hit by a car or anything?
You know, actually, I have gotten hit by a car. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, when the cars actually hit you, right, they're not going like 60 miles an hour, you know, but, you know, it's a different experience.
Did you like roll off the top of it?
Yes,
like,
I did.
Oh my gosh.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I bet it looked really cool.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
You know, as long as the take looks good, that's all that matters to me.
Are you an actor that likes to watch yourself?
No, I hate watching myself. Oh my gosh, like I can't even. I don't even like listening to myself, let alone watch myself. So yeah, it's something that I'm still struggling with. I'm trying to get better at it, but yeah.
Enjoying the process.
Yeah, it's a process. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So is there a role that you were dying to play, like a dream role that you want to do?
Oh man. I mean, if Marvel has another Asian, you know, I'm all for it. Let's go. I mean, I love Marvel. Like, I've loved comics my whole life. I've loved Marvel, DC, you know, I love superheroes, so who doesn't want to be a superhero, you know?
Yeah. So I know you said it's a quick flight back home, but as an actor, you know, you have to take care of yourself, and you know, people miss their family or whatever. What's something that you do, like in your routine, to keep yourself sane within Hollywood?
Oh man, well, one, going to the gym is a huge stress reliever for me. I would also say going to the beach is another stress reliever. You know, there's nothing like surfing or sitting on the beach and just listening to the waves crash. Like you said, I can't always get back home, but sitting at the beach always reminds me of home, and it kind of centers me a little bit. But obviously, going back home doesn't hurt either because all my family's back home. So whenever I feel like LA is getting a little too much for me, it's nice that I can still fly 5 hours and, you know, get grounded again and find my roots.
What's like something that draws you to a role? Is it like the script itself, working with the same people? Like, is there anything particular that there's martial arts involved?
You know, I love working with the same people because I feel like you build family, you know? For me, family is huge. I mean, I come from a place where family is number one. So when you work with the same type of people or the same people, you just automatically create these connections, and it just makes the process so much easier and so much more fun. And to me, that's when you don't actually have to work for a job. It's it's something you love.
When you go back home, does your family treat you like, hey, he's the one that's in the movies, or do they just treat you normal, or do they watch your stuff?
I have to say that my nephews and my nieces are the ones that probably treat me the best. Like, no one else
Are
cares.
they little?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I did this one thing on YouTube actually, and they couldn't get enough of watching me, and they started trying to imitate me, and doing all of my things, and rehearsing my lines, and I was just like, wow, this is really nice. No one else cares about me, but to them, I'm at least a little bit more of a bigger role model, so I appreciate that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So as an actor, sometimes you have to audition self-tape really quickly. How do you learn your lines?
Oh man, rehearse. So I used to try and write it down, and try to memorize it that way. But then I started realizing that the more I just say it out loud to me, the more I can start to retain. So, I think everybody's different and everybody's process is different. But for me, I think the more that I can say the words out loud, the more they kind of become a part of me. And I think that has worked for me so far.
What's a misconception about being a stuntman or an actor?
A misconception? I think a big misconception, at least for like stuntmen, is that you're supposed to be this tough guy. You can take the falls, you can take the hits. But honestly, I just feel like I'm more of a teddy bear than anything.
It's about safety, right?
Yeah, it is. And safety's a huge thing, right? But obviously things do happen, which you kind of sign up for the job for it, right? Like tearing my Achilles. That, unfortunately, that was probably my worst injury because, oh man, when it happened, I thought that one of my friends had just kicked my leg, right, really hard. And then I tried to put weight on it and I completely fell. And then when you tear your Achilles, your foot is just hanging there, it's dangling, and you try to tell it to move, right? Like you try to tell it to move, but it's not moving.
The signals don't.
Yeah, it's just completely limp.
How long ago was that?
That was probably 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the recovery process was really hard. It was definitely one of the hardest things that I've done. I mean, I've gotten concussions, I've broken ribs, I've broken arms. I've done a lot of things to injure myself, but that one was probably the biggest recovery.
Yeah. It's really, really hard, especially with how physical your job is.
Exactly, and for the longest time, that's all I was. I did sports, martial arts, stunts, all of that was all very physical activity. So my whole life was always based around being physical. So when that happened, I couldn't do anything, and I got a little bit depressed because I didn't really know where my life was gonna go after that, because I was so based on being physical. So when that door opened for me to do acting, I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity.
It's a crazy change because I'm guessing it was like right after the pandemic, right? And then you were getting into this new thing of acting.
Exactly, yeah. So, and like I said, I'd never thought about acting in my life. I didn't take theater classes in high school. I didn't go to school for acting in college. It was never on my radar. So the fact that, and going to my first acting class, it was probably one of the scariest things I've ever done in my life because I'm not a big public speaker. I don't like talking in front of crowds. I don't like talking in front of people. So having to get up on stage and, recite a monologue or do cold reading, that is probably one of the biggest things I've had to overcome in my life.
That's so interesting, especially since you do so many dangerous things. Like, you're like, it was really scary to talk in front of people, but not like get hit by a car. Like,
I'd rather get hit by a car 10 times than have to, recite a monologue in front of 20 people.
I think you're the only one in the room. Okay, so besides your cut as an actor and stunt coordinator, you are now adding another sort of title. You're wearing another hat, right?
I am, yes. Me and my partner, Alexandro Rosario. Actually, I think I saw him here earlier.
Wait, what's it? Oh, hold on.
Who's that?
good. How's
Alright.
everything, guys?
Yeah, good. He was just telling me about a project, but I want to know more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we wrote this project. It's a comedy, adventure. Two friends, and they just get into the craziest, kooky adventures.
Yeah.
Nothing's off limits in this world that
Yeah.
we created.
So the casting must have been really hard, right?
Yeah, but we lucked out. We found some really great actors.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they put our images out there, and we just kind of went with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing's off limits. Like we have robotic squirrels. We fight against. We have this guy named Gracious is our villain in the show, in the series, and his goal is to impregnate all the women in the world, and have zombie babies to take over the planet.
Yeah, that is very
And
true.
our characters are trying to stop him in that, because if we don't, then we're never gonna get laid, because
Okay.
all the women will be taken.
Oh wait, so you
Yeah.
guys are the leads then?
And we're also
That-
acting.
Oh,
yes,
that's
as well.
amazing.
Yes.
That's amazing.
That
Okay.
is-
Okay, so how did this idea come about? Like, who started it? Was it yours? Was it yours? Like, who started writing?
I would say it was.
I think it was a kind of a collective
Yeah.
effort. You know,
Yeah.
originally we had just started that we wanted to create characters that, you know, were fun and crazy. So that's kind of how we started, and then we kind of just built this world around it after, you know.
So you told me a little bit about the premise. Is this something that you've finished shooting already? Like, where could we watch it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can watch it on YouTube at the moment, Instagram. We have a TikTok. It's on the BScapades.
Yeah.
What's the name?
Escapades.
That's funny. That's a funny name.
Yeah. So it stands for. The BS is bullshit.
But it's also Bohana and Santiago.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's cute.
so
That's cute.
it's kinda
Yeah.
That's what it is. Okay, so are you doing like releasing episodes every so often? Is it out there already? How is this working?
Yeah, so the way that we were doing it was we were releasing 2 episodes a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then so we just actually dropped the last episode this past Thursday.
I think today.
Yeah, actually today is the last day that we dropped the episode.
Oh, so there's a fresh episode out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so check it out.
Yes, so
right after
please
this.
check it out
Okay.
and watch the whole entire series, please.
Yeah. So if you could describe, I know you already talked about it a little bit. In 3 words, what would it be?
3 words.
Or actually, let's do 2 and 2.
You want to go first? I'll go.
Yeah.
Crazy stupid.
Crazy stupid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Adventurous, silly.
Okay.
There we go.
So we could use a laugh, right? After
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
everything. Okay. Was there like action in it as well?
Yeah.
Considering your background?
Yeah,
So I would say
Yeah.
he coordinated a fight with a giant robotic squirrel.
I
Okay.
did.
I've never seen that, so you know.
Well,
I'm
yeah.
excited to
See,
watch
there's
it.
a first time for everything if you check it out.
Yeah.
Okay. And then just how did you guys meet? Like, how did this like? Who had the who
So
had
we
the,
met actually at the gym,
Yeah,
Okay.
and then it's just by accident,
Yeah.
we signed up for the same acting school.
Yeah.
we did.
And so we're like, hey, I know you from the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you from the gym. And we kind of
Oh
hit
my
off, and we had similar sense and humor, and we just decided to kind of
Yeah.
Who
build a
would have
friendship
thought?
that way.
Yeah, who
Right?
would have thought the best web series start in the gym? You know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think all best web series start
Yeah.
at the gym.
Yeah.
Actually.
They should play it on the screen so people can
Yeah,
watch it while they're
exactly.
on.
That's what I think. I
Okay.
think it's good motivation,
Yeah.
actually.
All right. Anything else you'd like to share about this project?
I think you're just gonna have to see for yourselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please check it out, and we promise that you will not be disappointed.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it was so lovely to have you guys here. I want to ask you one last thing. If any advice for anyone that wants to, take the leap and create their own series just like you guys did?
For me, I would say, don't think, just do. Because if you think too much, you're never gonna do anything.
I agree. I would say just to add on to that, just don't overthink it. Just go for it, and like what's the worst thing gonna happen?
Exactly.
All right. Hopefully they survive the squirrels. Okay. Or maybe
Watch
we'll
to
see.
find out.
Find out. New episodes airing Tuesdays and Thursdays
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
on YouTube. What's the YouTube channel called? Is it the name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Of
good
the-
day.
The escapades.
Escapades. Check it out. Okay. Thank you so much to everyone for watching. I'm Ali here, your host, and stick around for the next one. Bye.